Thank you, Ravi. Please confirm that you can hear me well.
Yep, everything is good.
Thank you. I think my team is helping to set up the presentation. But as they do it, first of all, thank you very much for the introduction. I'm here to talk about the journey of M-Pesa, the greatest invention in the mobile financial services, which the company which is dealing with is Safaricom. I'm very, very happy and honored to be part of this discussion. And I hope as I talk about the story of transforming lives, you get a glimpse of what you have done in this continent. So I'll start with a short video that introduces M-Pesa, our mobile money transfer services. I will start by giving you a brief context of Safaricom and walk you through the evolution of M-Pesa in Africa. Safaricom was established back in 2000, becoming Kenya's first mobile operator. We are a publicly listed company at the Nairobi Security Exchange in Kenya. Today, we have more than 40 million customers and a population of about 55 million people in Kenya. Safaricom is Kenya's largest mobile telecommunication service provider with 65% market share and the country's largest financial service provider through M-Pesa, which has more than 28 million customers. M-Pesa currently is available in Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Lesotho, Ghana, and Egypt. We also provide 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G coverage, collectively to more than 95% of the population, and in addition, home and business fiber connectivity. In the last financial year, Safaricom had an annual turnover of $2.6 billion with a profit of $680 million. At Safaricom, Our purpose is transforming lives, and this has been our guiding light throughout our journey. Equally, we have strongly focused on building a sustainable business, and we believe that we can only be successful if the community around us is successful. From our latest sustainability report, published in September 2021, we made a social contribution equivalent to 9.7 times our profit and 5.2% of Kenya's GDP. This included 190,000 direct jobs and more than 1 million indirect jobs. We launched M-Pesa almost 15 years ago to facilitate efficient transfer of money between Kenyans who would send money up country using buses and envelopes. The service was born out of our purpose of transforming lives. Driven by our purpose of transforming lives and our consistent focus on customer needs, M-Pesa has now grown to become the largest fintech service across the continent. I have packaged the whole evolution of M-Pesa in Africa in a short video. So, what has been the real impact of M-Pesa? Kenya's formal financial inclusion grew threefold from below 30% to over 80% in 2021, and now ranks third highest in Africa. Due to various innovations, M-Pesa has largely contributed to the growth in formal financial inclusion across the countries we operate in. In 2007, we only had 5 million bank accounts serving a population of 35 million. Agents were important as Kenya was and remains a cash-intensive economy with more than 9 of every 10 transactions still done in cash. A wide agent network would make it convenient to cash in and cash out of M-Pesa. At the time we launched the services, we expected we would only have about 1 million customers at most. However, by our second year, we had 2 million customers. This showed that we had cracked a real customer need, a real customer problem. We continue to build on M-Pesa, innovating and investing in the services to meet customer needs. We soon added the ability to pay utility bills, saving customers from having to travel and queue for hours every month to pay electricity and water bills. Then we partnered with Western Union and more recently PayPal, Google, AliExpress, amongst others, to provide international money transfers. Our customers can now send and receive money and make payments from more than 200 markets globally. We also partnered with banks to enable customers to save and borrow through M-Pesa linked bank accounts without filling any paperwork. Beyond savings and lending, we introduced payments to business for goods and services with a service known as Lipa na M-Pesa or Pay with M-Pesa. Today, more than 300,000 businesses accept goods on the service, and about 8 of every 10 cashless payments in Kenya are through this service. We have also partnered with CarePay and Pharma Access to introduce M-Tiba, which is an M-Pesa linked wallet that enables people and organizations to save for healthcare. In 2021, we crossed more than 50 million customers across 7 countries that we operate. And every day we handle more than 50 million transactions. We now have more than 500,000 businesses on M-Pesa, transacting more than $7.5 billion a month. We have the widest agent network across the continent at more than 500,000 agents. This means that in some countries, our customers on average are never to travel more than 2 kilometers from an agent. In our last financial year, we facilitated more than 15 billion transactions, generating revenues in excess of $1.1 billion. We are building on this success to drive the next phase of growth and to enable our customers achieve more. About 2 years ago, we announced the launch of M-Pesa Africa. M-Pesa Africa is a joint venture between Safaricom and Vodafone to consolidate our resources and capabilities to build Africa's largest fintech and digital financial services ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, the digital shift across the globe means that M-Pesa will have to evolve to meet the financial needs of our customers in a digital world. We are therefore investing in a standardized digital cloud-native M-Pesa platform that will provide us with increased capabilities and uptime. To enhance customer experience and to meet the needs of our digital customers, we launched the M-Pesa Super App last year, which has become the focal point of our strategy. Powering day-to-day lifestyles of our customers, the Super App has introduced convenience, improved e-commerce platforms, complementing the traditional business model of person-to-person mobile money transfers. Watch this short clip to learn more about the Super App. The M-Pesa Super App sports a fresh design and that makes the best of smartphone capabilities to bring innovation, convenience, and security together. This will be a key highlight for the more than 5 million businesses, especially in the informal sector, accepting payments through M-Pesa person-to-person transactions. On the home page, a customer sees a unified M-Pesa balance, including the amount they can access by overdraft. This provides better clarity when it comes to planning their spend. Our customers can also go offline. That enables the customers to use the app even when they are out of data bundles, have switched off their data, or simply go offline. Leveraging on big data will provide customers with a personalized smart budgeting tool and analytics on their usage. They can set financial goals and the tool will nudge and guide them towards their goal. On the app, we have given more focus to international money transfer under the Transact tab and financial health under the Grow tab. A new credit marketplace will promote sustainable lending by providing a unified credit score against which different financial patterns can lend. The credit score will address current concerns around high indebtedness and also enabling our partners to offer differentiated products based on the risk appetite. In addition to financial health, the tab features our new offerings around wealth management and insurance. The app has been a quite success with more than 4 million customer downloads and 2 million active users. Over the next 1 year, we are targeting 5 billion active users. We also plan to have more than 150 high quality mini apps. So far, we have onboarded about 20 mini apps with more than 65 under development. In the last 14 years, M-Pesa, our success has been achieved by financial, including more than 50 million customers. In the next decade, M-Pesa will be guiding and providing a digital platform as we extend our focus beyond financial inclusion to financial health. I'll finish this the Super App section with a short video which demonstrates our business customers' testimonial on the M-Pesa app and how they use it to conduct their business.
My name is Robert Toho. I'm from Kureine. I am a teacher. I'm a businessman, and I'm a community social worker. My business is mostly majorly for recreational purposes. I have a gym, we have a DJing school, we have a PlayStation. I am a teacher by profession, so I have little time to be around my business. All the M-Pesa business transactions usually come directly to the M-Pesa business phone. So even when I'm not in or around the business, I'm able to know that so-and-so has paid up for a service. My businesses majorly are, service providing. When I want to buy maybe, stock, maybe like printing papers for my cyber, or I want to buy spirit for my kinyozi. So it helps me when I want to purchase anything. And even I want to pay, my employees, I can pay them directly, using the business till app instead of giving them cash.
To apply for a business till.
So we are also looking to build on the success of our financial services. In Kenya, more than 40 financial institutions and virtually all banks connect to M-Pesa. We are expanding on these partnerships to build a credit marketplace where customers can access a variety of financial services at competitive terms based on their needs. M-Pesa Africa is also looking at acquiring a best-in-class investment and wealth management platform. We aim to empower our customers going from a financial inclusion to financial health by achieving more resilience by growing their wealth and savings. Through global partnerships, M-Pesa has been key to the achievement of HDG 10.C on transactions cost from migrant remittances. On average, we are on course to achieve the SDG target 10 on reduced inequalities years before the UN target date. Remittances is another sector where we can make even more differences to our customers. Last year, we powered $3.6 billion in remittances. Through more partnerships, we aim to grow, especially regional remittances, more particularly have products targeted at SMEs. The lack of remittance products has especially been a hindrance to unlocking regional trade, which for many countries remains at quite a low levels. Lastly, we are looking at further expanding and building on our application program interfaces, which is popularly called APIs. We already provide a fully established set of APIs that today empower more than 42,000 independent developers and businesses. Through these APIs, business and innovators can build and offer their functionality on top of M-Pesa to reach out to our more than 50 million customers. In turn, customers can benefit from a wide variety of services and opportunities. By expanding these APIs, we are looking at having more firms providing mini apps both to customers and other organizations through our two super apps, Super App for individual customers and Super App for businesses. We are encouraged by the impact of M-Pesa on driving financial inclusion and health in Kenya since 2007. We remain guided by our purpose of transforming lives in Kenya, and we are keen to not leave anyone behind on this. In our quest to drive diversity and inclusion, we are launching the Dot Braille Watch, which enables the visually impaired person to read their M-Pesa and other SMS notification in a private and secured way. For this, we have partnered with Kenya Union of the Blind to distribute the watches and smartphones to visually impaired university students across Kenya. As we go digital, we are expanding our capabilities and products beyond customers using our host networks to all customers in our markets. In conclusion, we continue to hitch our success on connecting customers to more opportunities, whether as individuals or as entrepreneurs. We remain committed to connecting people to people, knowledge and opportunities across the globe. True to our purpose, we continue to transform lives. Thank you very much. I now hand over back to Ravi for the Q&A session.
Thank you, Dilip. That was so impressive. The number of services you've expanded into over time, and also the number of people, the number of lives that you're touching with these innovations. You had tremendous success within Kenya. You talked about your market share is very impressive. The volumes you're doing are very impressive. The super app you're creating, which I have to think is inspired, like it has been inspired everywhere else, by the Chinese examples of Alibaba and WeChat, has so much more room to expand and provide additional services. But I'm wondering, in terms of how you transfer these innovations to other parts of Africa. You mentioned that you're in 6 or 7 countries already. By the way, we have one of the members in the audience who's from Ghana, has even volunteered to help you grow your business in Ghana if you so wish. So maybe you can have private conversation with that person afterwards. But tell me, as you look at these 7 countries and other countries where you may have tried to enter but have maybe not had the same degree of success, what explains the difference in effectiveness of your success in these other markets, and how do they compare with Kenya in terms of the ability to get into, for instance, financial services, because sometimes that is restricted to banks and so on and so forth. Just talk us through the challenges of moving this innovation to other parts of Africa.
Thanks, Ravi. I think that's a great question and comes in the context of Kenyan success has not necessarily been replicated across the globe in the manner and the shape and the scale that you see here. I think at the core of what you're trying to do, what we have done is solving a customer problem. So as long as you know what the customer needs are and what environment that you're operating in, then you are progressing. So I think some of the success stories or some of the not so success stories that we hear from other markets is also coming from the fact that you can't just replicate. It's okay, it's successful in M-Pesa and go and replicate it. No, it doesn't work that way. As you rightly mentioned, I think we are I think 8 countries that we are present in Africa, but the degree of success within these African markets are also different. I think one, of course, the level of financial inclusion, the regulation, and the whole the innovation pipeline that you're able to do, and more importantly, the Kenyan success story, which started with a very strong agent network. At times, it's not easy to do that. It's always what comes first. I think if you would have spoken to people in Safaricom before, they would have told you that it never started as something that you're really looking at as a you want to make a lot of money out of it, or it's not necessarily that. That's the, I think there was a problem, and that problem was to be solved. And you are investing a lot to be able to make sure that the agent network is closest to the customer they reside. So when you don't have a bank, but you know that there is an agent network that you can reach out, right? I think it's the combination of all of that has resulted into some success stories, very strong success stories, some not so successful stories. But from our side, I think Ravi, as you rightly mentioned, so the M-Pesa, we created a JV with Vodafone called M-Pesa Africa, whose really the focus is to make sure that we don't duplicate the efforts in terms of product development, how quickly you can launch those products, of course, in an environment regulation and which those countries are. And also within the context of the success that I see, I think some of the countries, one of the parameters that you look at is how much of the money is moving as percentage of GDP, and some countries actually have reached 30 to 50% of the GDP moving through the financial services through M-Pesa that we're offering. So there is not a silver bullet, Ravi, that that you can just go and replicate everywhere. And M-Pesa in Kenya has been a very strong on innovation, and that's what we do now. Everything starts from Kenya, and then you're able to replicate it faster in other places, much faster than what we have done before with the current the partnership that we have with Vodafone in other markets. So that's where I think I will leave on this.
Terrific. I think one thing that may not be obvious to all the viewers is that Safaricom is actually a joint venture between Vodafone and the Kenyan state-owned company, correct? And Vodafone being a multinational player, state-owned company being a local player, but also being a state-owned company. Joint ventures between multinationals and state-owned companies, Western multinationals and state-owned companies, don't always work, but Safaricom seems to have really worked very well. Any insights and any secrets on how you make a joint venture of that kind work?
So it's a great question, Ravi. I think just for all the listeners and viewers, our shareholder structure is as Ravi mentioned, it's 40% actually owned by Vodacom plus Vodafone, 35% owned by government of Kenya, and 25% we are a publicly listed company, as I mentioned. First of all, let's acknowledge that the pride that Safaricom takes in transforming lives. So we have done, and I think the numbers speak for itself. So we have done that, and which means that we have been a very successful company in this continent. And as you look back, you always see that the GOK has been our partner, and Vodafone and Vodacom has been one of our key partners. I think what we do is that we leverage on the strengths. There is a strong support to the management. The government of Kenya really supports us. They don't interfere in the day-to-day affairs. There is a strong board participation from GOK's board nomination. And then we do have a lot of learning, cross-pollination from the Vodafone and Vodacom markets. So it works very well. There are the commercial benefits of being part of a Vodafone opportunities, and there is a very strong bonding that I think the Kenyan entity has developed with the GOK, because we are actually transforming lives. It contributes the numbers that we spoke about, the financial inclusion, everything that we do in the economic, whether it is for the bringing in new innovation, not only in M-Pesa, in our connectivity businesses as well, plus also the work that we do through other foundations. So it's truly a reflection of how we transform life. So that's actually it's really work. And I said this in many forums and publicly, Ravi. I have seen companies talking about purpose. A lot of companies claim that they believe in purpose. Some companies do that for CR purpose, but I have not seen something close to this that I have been here in just over 1 year. Every single employee is believing this, completely committed to this, and that's what I think makes it a great company. And this stories of how this partnership worked with the GOK and the Vodafone. I think it's a great success story. There is no recipe. I think we just leverage on the strength of both and make sure that what you offer to the customers are what customer actually really needs and solves their real problems.
So that's a terrific insight. What you're saying is, at the end of the day, if you focus on the customer and actually transforming lives, then it's a win-win for everyone. And therefore, it becomes easier for all parties to work together. And you've certainly shown how wonderful the outcomes can be when you can get that kind of partnership. Tell me, when you develop these technologies, I mean, you have the advantage of Vodafone has deep technical expertise, not only in Kenya, but in other parts of the world. And you probably can draw on that. But you also then have, I assume, some local capability to do innovation. Can you speak to that? I mean, how much of these developments are you actually doing in Kenya? And do you do it all in-house, or are you also working with other partners? Because you mentioned that you're trying to develop APIs so that other local players can become part of your ecosystem. Just talk to us a little bit about how you are dividing up the work between, say, your other offices and other R&D centers and the Kenyan operation and private players within Kenya.
Yeah. So, Ravi, you touched a very important topic in terms of what we're dealing with today, the innovation really driving what we're doing. And that's at the core of everything that we do. Now, I'll divide it into kind of phases. I think we got greatly benefited by Vodafone's and Vodacom's strong understanding within the connectivity business, within the GSM, whether it is the voice, mobile data, or even later on the fixed services that we have launched. I think there is a huge opportunity that we really leveraged on, because those markets have launched much before us. So we kind of try to make sure that those are replicated very quickly, and these are very, very seamless. So we do have those interactions, we do have those opportunities that people could come in, go learn from there, or people could just come in here and just implement it on those parts. But when it came to M-Pesa and the financial inclusion, I think there is a lot that happened in Kenya, which kind of everybody else tried to replicate, including Vodafone and Vodacom. So it's just the other way. I think when it came to financial inclusion and financial services in M-Pesa, it was Kenya at the center of everything that we're doing. And we were at the, we never hesitated. I was speaking to some of the people who have been here before, including our current chair, who was, as you know, the founder, CEO, and also the one, Michael Joseph, who has launched M-Pesa in Kenya. So he used to always say that we just focused on what will, always ahead of time. You don't necessarily looked at every time you're putting in investment, okay, is it going to give us the return? We looked at, actually, he was telling me, we looked at more as will customers be loyal to us if we give one more innovative product, we solve their problems? And that's how things have developed here. So on the financial services, it has always been Kenya. But that was the pre. Now what's happening, I think it's happening more than that. As I was mentioning during my presentation, M-Pesa Africa which is developing a common product strategy wherein we pull in resources from everywhere. So they come and, whether it is from Kenya and whether it is from, other markets, that they all come together, and they are the people who are really driving this. And then it comes to the developer ecosystem, and that's like in open ecosystems, anybody come and do that. We are very, very open to that part. So there is one area where for Kenya business alone, that's whole API integration to the independent developers, that continues every time, within the products and services that we have, we always see something new that's coming up. Yeah. And I was talking about in the context of super app, the way that we're thinking about, as you rightly mentioned, it's kind of Alipay. So the mini apps come in, and those mini apps are coming and getting developed through those innovation and the developers community. They're part of this whole integration. The current phase is kind of a more pull-in, and we are not, we can actually simultaneously launch our products across markets, and we are waiting for something to happen in one market and doing that. In the past, it was not like that. So that's what the phases of innovation that I wanted to talk about.
We have about 3 or 4 minutes left. And as you heard in the introduction, the president of the university said that I work on reverse innovation. The idea that sometimes an innovation can actually be born in the emerging markets and then find its way to other parts of the world. I often mention e-payments by Safaricom and the M-Pesa as an example of something that took off much sooner in Kenya than it did in the West. Here, we still carry credit cards and cash, and we're slowly trying to wean ourselves out of those and get into digital forms of payment. Could you, in that context, if there is an example, tell me something that you are doing today in Kenya or another African country where you are ahead of the West, something that in 5 years we may start to do here. Is there any example currently bubbling through your system that we don't know about or is not very well known? Where do you think, because once you create the platform and you create the penetration of the mobile phone, the people getting into the habit of using the phone to do all kinds of things, in turn, that will produce another wave of innovations. And I think emerging markets like Kenya could be at the global forefront in some of those new services. So if you have an example, we'd love to hear it.
Ravi, of course, this is a public forum. Some of this that I will not be able to share in that detail.
Okay.
But I think the way I would look at it is, it's definitely not in the areas of connectivity, the traditional business that we have been running on. Within that, what I think the West and the rest of the I would say the developed markets can probably find and implement and really understand how do you serve with such a low paying customers, the whole concept of the very low. We serve very low as you see the numbers, and we really serve everybody. So it's not an elite set of services that are providing service to everyone. I think that is something I'm pretty sure that the other markets can learn. And we do that, I think, within the Vodafone ecosystem. They come and see how you are doing that. It's the chain of efficiency that you're able to drive, even with the revenue per customers, which is very low, but you're still generating profit in a very commercially viable way, right? So that's something I would say. I don't want to call that innovation. I think it's something just that we master over a period of time. Then the other part I would say on the financial inclusion part, I think it's as acknowledged by everyone, M-Pesa has been the innovation engine in the financial inclusion country, and now going beyond this country to other parts of this continent. The way we, as a telco, as a connectivity provider, integrate with everything that is coming through a fintech, there are not many examples. So we have a huge opportunity that how do you leverage your connectivity business that you have. Then you have your, whether it is GSM, whether it's fixed business, and you have your financial services. How you use the big data analytics and your whole AI and machine learning to enable that customers' stickiness, to get the customers' loyalty. They don't need to get out of an ecosystem, if we're talking about whether it's for the business, whether it is for super app. We are not there. As I said, the internet penetration is very low. The smartphone penetration is also very low. I think that's the next level of. You could say that the smartphone penetration is very high in West, but the things that we're doing here actually are not done in a very integrated way that we are trying to do here in Kenya. I think that would be one area.
Terrific point. And it's not, I would consider that innovation. When you have been able to bring these very valuable products and services and make them affordable down to the common person at the base of the economic pyramid, that is an enormous innovation and enormous contribution. We'll have to leave it at that. I'm afraid our time is up. Dilip, I want to thank you so much on behalf of Northeastern University, the Center for Emerging Markets and the Africa Global Initiative. Thanks also to your team, Wanzila and others who worked hard to put this session together. I thank the technology for working, because here's Dilip is sitting in Addis, I think, and we are here in the US, and you would think we were all in the same room. So thank you very much again. And we look forward, Dilip, to having you in person on campus whenever the situation allows. Thank you
so much. Thank you so much, Ruby, for having me here. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.